Hello, everybody. My name is Benjamin Bloom. Welcome along. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Show, and strap yourself in. Not only is it a ranking video, but this is an opinion video as well. Now, I'm going to be looking at ranking the championship managers from number 24 to number 1, because we now have a full complement of 24 managers, but I'm not going to be ranking them as managers. And we're ranking them as players. Obviously, 99% of football managers were players themselves. And I thought it might be a bit of fun to see who comes where in this list and see what kind of caliber of player we're dealing with the managers in the championship. Now, as I already said, it's an opinion video. It's a ranking video. Ultimately, it's a little bit of fun and it doesn't matter, but you're more than welcome to get your views in the comments. However, if your view is different to mine, that doesn't matter. That's absolutely fine. You can disagree, but can you do it politely, please? Because sometimes people get very vexatious in the comments in these. I know football can be very, very emotional, and sometimes people, they attach themselves to the tribe of their team, and that's their identity. And when someone says something about the manager that works for their team, then their tribe has been mortally offended, ergo they've been mortally offended. No, come on, we can be a bit more grown up than that. And hopefully you'll see through my workings out that I have tried to do this in a very balanced and sensible way. But get your comments in, but we can be nice, can't we? So let's start at the bottom. Why not? And at number 24, and the first category of these managers is barely a pro. There are a couple in the championship, would you believe, that barely kicked a ball as a professional. Number 24, Thomas Frank, the Brentford manager, was not a professional footballer. He started as an amateur and then quickly went on to coaching. So that's quite nice for me, because it means I can put someone at the bottom, and fairly sensible reasoning. If we're ranking managers as footballers and one of them wasn't even a pro, then I can put him at the bottom. Please don't get offended, Brentford fans. Number 23, Carlos CORBERAN, just moved across from Leeds to Huddersfield, a Bielsa disciple and assistant. Started playing his career there, you can see, at Valencia. However, at the age of 23, after playing no higher than Secunda Division B, CORBERAN decided to retire as a player to become a coach. So he barely scratched the surface. So Huddersfield's Carlos CORBERAN there, a quick retirement, and he comes in at number 23. Number 22, there is Steve Cooper of Swansea. It's pretty much non-league, but it's over in Wales there. You can see peaking at Bangor City there between 2000 and 2002. Son of a referee, but frankly, far more interested in his coaching career than his playing career. And remember, I'd like to reiterate at this point, I'm not saying that if you didn't have a great playing career, you can't be a great coach. Look at Jose Mourinho, for goodness sake, before anyone gets butthurt about that. Number 21, the banker, Mark Warburton. Well, he can go in the barely a pro category because he played non-league for Enfield and Boreham Wood. That probably puts him just above Steve Cooper in terms of his Welsh lower division pedigree. Speaking of lower division, the next group of players are the lower division journeymen. So they had careers, they bounced around the lower leagues, might have peaked in a second tier somewhere. However, never got close to those top couple of tiers. And number 20, there is Daniel FARKE, who very self-deprecatingly says he knew how to score, but was probably the slowest striker in the whole of Western Europe. If you look, actually, his goal-scoring record is extremely good there. I don't know what... It's Wikipedia, to be fair, don't have the Wilmshaven figures there. But by his own admission, a lower division standard German player. And for the purposes of this video, I'm classing lower division Germany not as good as lower division English football, which means I can put Jason Tindall, who's just taken over at Bournemouth, at number 19, just one higher. You can see, and that's the bad old days for Bournemouth, I have to say. 17-point deductions and administrations and different owners. And then down to Weymouth he goes, 190 appearances isn't actually all that high for this list either. So Jason Tindall goes in there at 19. At number 18, well, there he is, the old master, Neil Warnock. Some classic there. Look at their older shot in there. Brilliant stuff. Lower divisions. A winger, Neil Warnock. Good goals ratio there, particularly for Barnsley there, 10 in 57. He was the player of the year for Hartlepool in the early 70s. Warnock would for sure admit that his brilliant managerial career over 30 plus years now, probably even longer than that, isn't it, has well eclipsed his playing career. Number 17 is Dean Holden, who kind of starts fairly high up. That was a decent Bolton team, battled with my Ipswich team in the late 90s there, but he kind of slides down to find his level in the lower divisions, does Dean Holden. And we wish him luck at Bristol City. He comes in at 17. At 16 is Nathan Jones, who's got an interesting career path there through Wales and then Numancia there in Spain. Some good work, though, by Jones at Brighton, a couple of promotions there, I think. And then look at that, 185 appearances to finish up at Yeovil, a lot of that in League One as well. So I think I just have him a bit higher with his longevity there, staying at one club. Very useful player. His number 15 was Paul Warne, who I saw play many times. And there he is for Rotherham, midfield player there coming out of Norfolk with Great Yarmouth and Diss. And look at that, 232 appearances between 99 and 2005. Comes back to Rotherham for another 29 appearances at the end. Decent for Oldham as well. Never really got above the championship level. Ronnie Moore's Rotherham did play there. Warne was a useful player for them. So he doesn't quite match up to Alex Neil, who a lot of that Barnsley stuff is maybe a little bit higher up than Rotherham were playing. And then we get into the how I judge the Scottish Premier League, whether I'm judging that against the Championship or against League One. I have just gone for Alex Neil ahead of Paul Warne. A lot of Scottish Premier League stuff there at Hamilton. I think he played in a few different divisions for Hamilton. In the nearly zone, nearly at the top level here, we're up to number 13 now. I can't quite call them top level players, but they're close, including Gerhard Struben. We have honours here, an Austrian champion, for goodness sake, and an Austrian Super Cup winner there in 96-97 for Austria Salzburg there. Again, is that the equivalent to the Championship, possibly around there? So I've put Struber a little bit higher on the basis of winning an honour there. One player that never won an honour is our number 12, Neil Harris, but a rarity here, a striker and a great goal scorer as well. Look at that, 140 goals in his career. I believe he is the all-time top scorer at Millwall, and even though he didn't quite make it into the top divisions, very handy striker in the second tier and in the third tier. And I think just the weight of goals there and the fact that he's a bit of a Millwall club legend and where they reside puts him up at number 12. You have to look at the start of this guy's career to see where I've put him up there. That's Michael O'Neill, the Stoke manager. A great start there. Look, Newcastle in the top division there. Look at that, 12 goals in 21 appearances in that first season. Very fine start. I wonder if that's the era of Gascoigne and Waddle and Beardsley. Maybe a couple of them have moved on by then. Really good run then for 6 seasons, pretty much in the Scottish Premier Division. Comes back down to the Premier League. Doesn't quite cut it there. But I think for that 10 years of his career alone, I think he deserves to be where he is in the list there. Now, this is the only one where you can accuse me of bias because I'm an Ipswich fan and I love Tony Mowbray, the Blackburn manager. Superb centre-half. And just look at that record for Middlesbrough there. No age as well. Very young captain. Hugely reliable centre-back. Always the rumours that it would have been him and not Gary Pallister going off to Manchester United when that happened. Got Middlesbrough. They're up into the first division for that one season in 1988-89. And then so well regarded at Celtic up there. Obviously going against the 9 in a row team, I guess they're the Rangers team, and then comes down to Ipswich to finish off his career. And his very last game, he's promoted up to the Premier League in the playoff final at Wembley, and he scored. Tony Mowbray, I can tell you firsthand from seeing him many times, was a superb player who probably deserved more goes at the top level, but never quite got there. Someone who did get there is Wycombe's manager, Gareth Ainsworth. It's a bit small there, but what longevity in his career there. Look at that, well over 500 appearances. And he really works his way through the leagues and up. Always a goal-scoring midfielder as well. To get to Lincoln there, where you can see, look at that, 22 goals in one season, then up into the second tier with Port Vale, into the Premier League indeed with Wimbledon. Not many games, but he was there. And then look at this Indian summer at the end of his career. There's so many games there for QPR, all at championship level. And then for Wycombe, a superb player there. That's a really great career with great longevity, a creative player, a goal-scoring wide player, some Premier League experience there, and really good stuff, which is why I've got Gareth Ainsworth at number 9. But here we go with the top dogs here that played at the top level. Gary Monk is the first of them, but doesn't actually play that many games. We're talking about Sheffield Wednesday manager Gary Monk here. But look, he's in a Premier League squad for a lot of years there with Southampton without ever getting bombed out or ever getting put into the team. He starts to go on a lot of loan moves, then out to Barnsley, and then really finds a home at Swansea. And the reason he gazumps a lot of these lower division players is, look, on the journey from Swansea, look, League 2, League 1, that turns to Championship, and then into the Premier League where, I mean, just look at those last years of his career, a centre-half that then ends up becoming manager at Swansea, and probably their League 1, Championship, Premier League. There's probably 150 or so games there on that last run of his career. Brilliant stuff. Now, our first regular top division player is Millwall manager Gary Rowett, in that amazing early 90s Cambridge team with Dion Dublin and Steve Claridge. I think John Beck would still be the manager there. Gets the move to Everton, doesn't break through, but then hugely impressive career after that. Promoted with Derby County and into the Premier League there. Look at that, 70 Premier League appearances across those 2 seasons. Then to Birmingham, that'd be Trevor Francis's Birmingham, who were always up at the top of the Championship. And then, look, another 2 seasons in the Premier League with Leicester, 2 seasons in the Premier League with Charlton. That sounds to me a career well spent either at the top of the second tier or in the Premier League. Very versatile player, Gary Rowett, sort of right back or a right-sided midfielder or defensive midfielder. Good player, good career there. Now we have some medal winners, and here's a new face for you all. It's Vladimir Ivic, very handsome new face by the look of it as well, and a 6'3" attacking midfielder. And look at his goal scoring record there, particularly for Partizan in that 2000-2001 season. Look at that, 20 goals in 30 league games, plus 2 in cups as well. Brilliant stuff there. 21 the previous season in all comps as well. And look at that, a Yugoslav champion in 99, 02 and 03, a Yugoslav Cup winner in 2001. Played in the Champions League as well, then moved to the German top division very briefly there, and then went and played in Greece, where obviously he's gone on to manage before his soiree managing in Israel, and now he's come to Watford. You can see as well there, 8 appearances for the former Yugoslavia there, and 1 for his home nation there of Serbia once the change was made. Obviously, that gazumps someone like Gerhard Struber a bit of a higher level, and to be playing Champions League football as well puts Vladimir Ivic at number 6. We're into the top 5 now. Mark Bowen, who was a great player, particularly in that run at Norwich City there, does actually, if you look in the top right there, have a UEFA Cup winners medal from 94 in his from 84, excuse me, in his time at Tottenham, and then just brilliant for Norwich, really. I believe Norwich finished 5th in one of those seasons, possibly 89 there, and then a superb run under Mike Walker in that initial Premier League season. They were superb, and then the run in Europe before relegation there in 94-95. But 300 odd appearances there for Norwich at the top level. And then, look, goes away, comes back, plays for West Ham in the Premier League and Charlton in the Premier League after winning the playoffs there for them. And you can see 41 caps for Wales as well. Wales were a big deal when Mark Bowen were playing for them. Players like Ian Rush, Mark Hughes, obviously Ryan Giggs, Neville Southall would all have been playing at that time. So Mark Bowen, number 5. And here's a Norwich teammate of Mark Bowen, Mark Robins, who is going to get in at number 4 on the basis of some honours there. Not quite the consistent top-level player that maybe a Mark Bowen was, but look there. FA Cup, Charity Shield, Cup Winners' Cup, European Super Cup, and then a League Cup with Leicester, obviously the first lot with Manchester United. Mark Robins coming back now, managing Coventry in the top division, and famously scored that goal, didn't he, for Alex Ferguson in the FA Cup. Everyone says, oh, Fergie would have been out if they hadn't won that cup that year, and Robins kept him in with a late goal. Obviously kind of ushered away not an elite top level player when Manchester United went on to a new stratosphere under Ferguson. Robins went off to Norwich, but we've spoken about that team. In business terms, they would be called a very disruptive team, Norwich, really upsetting the old guard there in a 3-way championship race with Man United and Aston Villa there in that first Premier League season. Brilliant stuff there. I remember him scoring a hat-trick at Arsenal on the opening day of one of those seasons as well. And then to go on and do well at Leicester as well, winning a League Cup. You can see, couldn't quite find a home until he got to Rotherham in the early 2000s. Good scoring run for them. Now, we're up to the top 3 now, and we are, I'm sure you can all figure out who these last 3 are, but what order am I going to put them in? The elite. We have some players who've won some damn big trophies and play for some very, very big teams here. Number 3 is Sabri Lamouchi, a great creative midfielder in his time. Is he Tunisian born, possibly? I don't know that for a fact. Fact check me in the comments on that. But a French international, no less, at a time where France were awesome. Going to win the World Cup in 98 and the European Championship in 2000. You can see there, however, Lamouchi is going to win the French title twice. Once with Auxerre in 96 and a double there, indeed. And once with an excellent Monaco team there in 2000. Off he goes to Italy, Coppa Italia with Parma, gets to play for a great Inter Milan side as well. Intertoto Cup for Marseille. What a career Lamouchi has now managing at Nottingham Forest. Now, very, very difficult to choose between these top 2. But I will tell you that I'm trying to judge who was the best player, not who had the best career. So it's not always down to honours, which means if it was down to honours, this guy would be number 1. But I'm just not going to do it that way. So I've got Aitor Karanka at number 2. If football is just down to honours, then obviously he'd be number 1 because look there, God damn it, 3 times Champions League winner, Aitor Karanka. Sensational trophy cabinet for him with Real Madrid there in 98, 2000 and 2002. You can see particularly in 2000, 2001, plays 35 La Liga games for Real. You can see in Continental as well there, 5 appearances in that Champions League. 11 in 2000 as well. So a real mainstay in that team. Never playing outside of the top flight in Spain. Didn't quite ever get in terms of the international. I think he got 1 cap, possibly. People like Fernando Hierro, maybe ahead of him there at that time. One La Liga title there, a bit of a outlier there to have more Champions League titles than league titles. But there you go. That comes from the change in rules there, not having to qualify. But Karanka, sorry, I should have mentioned there, 2 Supercopa Españas there in 97 and 2001. So centre half there, the now Birmingham City manager who's also managed Borough and Forest in this division. A superb career and a glowing trophy cabinet. However, it's ranking the players from 24 to number 1. So I've got to go for Philip Cocu. What a classy midfield player he was. A Dutch midfielder. Look over on the right there, 101 caps for Holland from 96 through to 2006. Look at there, he played for AZ, Vitesse, PSV. He's going to start winning stuff there. Dutch title there with them in 1997, and a cup there with them also in 1996. And he finds his way to the big leagues there, Barcelona, European giants Barcelona, and he wins the La Liga in his first season there, scoring 12 goals in 36 games from midfield. Absolutely brilliant, brilliant stuff there. 200 games for Barca. Look at the appearances there. 36, 35, 35, 34, 29, 36. So consistent. Back he goes to Holland, where he's going to win 3 straight Eredivisie titles there, and another cup in 2004-05. Goes off for the old retirement there with Al Jazeera. Takes the money. 4th place in the World Cup in 98 as well. Okay, he doesn't have Karanka's Champions League medals there, but you can see a glittering career. So let me just go over my top 10 really quickly. Tony Mowbray at number 10. Gareth Ainsworth, number 9. Gary Monk, number 8. Gary Rowett, number 7. Vladimir Ivic at number 6. Mark Bowen, number 5. Mark Robbins at number 4. And then the elite, number 3, Sabri Lamouchi. Number 2, Aitor Karanka. And number 1, Philippe Cocu. So that is my rankings for the 24 championship managers to be ranked as players. Now, I will reiterate my stance on this type of video, because these are the type of videos where we get the most mental YouTube comments. So I will give my position as a staunch advocate of being nice online. I feel that we as creators here on YouTube need to do more to stop the abusive nature of people's comments. So look, if you want to comment on this video, which is ultimately a little bit of silly fun, and you don't agree with, I don't know, Neil Warnock is 3 places too low, do it, but can you please do it in a good-natured way? Because these tend to be the worst ones. As I say, people can let their tribal allegiances outdo their critical thinking. And no matter what argument I put forward, if they see the manager of their team low down, they get a little bit emotional. And I think the heart overrides the brain. So if you are going to comment, which I would love you to, let's just make it civil. Let's make it reasoned, and let's not be led by some weird tribal football mentality, because we don't all operate that way, sadly, even though emotion is sometimes the best bit of football indeed. So that is my thoughts on that. I would love your comments, and that is not me saying don't comment, but I just feel, and I'm always an advocate, that if we can just check our behavior a bit online, I think the world would be a better place. We're not quite getting that right. Now, if you like that video, I make lots of videos here, and you can support me on Patreon. And that is vitally important at the moment, because I cannot make any money out of YouTube. Don't worry, YouTube haven't screwed me or demonetized me or anything. I should have replied and sent a pin for my AdSense account. I didn't bother doing it. And now it's been discontinued there. So that's going to take 2 to 4 weeks. So the only way you can support my ventures here, and I don't have a job because of COVID, is over on Patreon, patreon.com/BenjaminBloom. There's 2 tiers at the moment. We're going to do more. If you want to just support, which is basically just a donation, that's $3 a month on the bottom tier there. And you can then go up a tier for $5 a month, and you will get exclusively there on Patreon my Patreon-only vlogs and Patreon Q&As. If that is not your bag, then you can give a thumbs up. That always helps. You can get involved in the comments. But as I say, I'm a really big proponent of people behaving online the same way as they would in the street, and trying to have civil conversation. Not everything has to be a debate where there's a winner and a loser. I think sometimes we can have a discussion, and more than one person can be right, let's just say. What would really help me, though, is if you hit that subscribe button. You can see there that says 10,000. We've got 11,250 now at the last count. So we're doing really well. Want to build up the channel and maybe reach my ambition of making a living off this. Although YouTube needs to hurry up and get my AdSense sorted out. I know it's my fault. But in the meantime, thank you everybody for watching. Get involved with your comments on the ranking of championship managers as players. Now we have a complete set. Would love to know your opinions. And as I always say here, it takes a lot more skill to build something than it does to tear it down. So why not give me your list rather than just poking holes in mine? But I appreciate I've come on the platform. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Hopefully that was a fun video and we can continue the discussion and the fun idea in the comments. Over and out. See you on the next video.